radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game.
Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, welcome. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Tuesday, Monday. Today's Monday. Tuesday, December 6th. 340 days into the new year. Oh, it's 341. Oh, man. I got two sets of notes in front of me. I just took down the second one. 25 days left. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Man, working hard today. Hard. I'm cross-eyed. Just working. How you doing? Tonight, Courtney Brown and Dick Allgire are here. We're going to do remote viewing all night long and the Farsight Institute's Time Cross Project. Very interesting. Go to farsight.org and just click on Time Cross. Go right there. Look at what they have been doing. And check out Aziz Brown. Amazing. Just amazing. Anyway, tomorrow night, Scott Wolter's going to be here with the Oak Island map. Thursday night is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom, and we'll be open lines all night long. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Fade to Black. Jimmy Church Radio, you know what to do. Just go follow, like, and subscribe over at the website. You can email throughout the show tonight, jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And the sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. TweetDeck. You know the rules. If you don't have a Twitter account, go and get one. Hashtag F2B. Come and hang out with us. Any questions or comments during the show tonight for myself, Courtney, or Dick Allgire, hashtag F2BQ. All right. Happy holidays from all of us and all of our sponsors to you. Please visit all of them for great gift-giving ideas. Life Change Tea. You know, you checked out Life Change Tea. You know what it's all about. You know what getthetea.com is, right? Share that with the one that you love. Get them something. Seriously, change their life. You'll do it. Just go to getthetea.com. Get some gifts. Use the promo code Jimmy when you order, either over the phone or online. You get free shipping. River Moon Coffee. Give the gift of coffee this Christmas. One of the coolest things I used to really enjoy, at the office, and you get the Starbucks gift basket, right? I used to do that for my clients. I remember one year we ordered, oh my goodness, I think we ordered 50 Starbucks gift baskets. And as I sent those out to clients, I'm not kidding either, man. We had them stacked up all over the office and had to sign all the cards. But anyway, getting coffee for Christmas was I my little secret thing. If I give coffee maybe I'll receive some coffee, right? Well, I never got coffee for Christmas, but I know how cool it was to give it. So, River Moon Coffee, Fade to Black blend. You will make somebody out there so happy. F2B blend is the promo code. That's all you got to do. 15% off of your order. Give the gift of coffee. The banners are right there on our website. Studio Dome, give that. That's the gift that keeps on giving, right? Stereo, music, Van Halen, that's what I'm talking about. TWS, True Wireless Stereo Technology in a hard shell case. There you go. Perfect Christmas gift. Promo code JCRTWS. How about a Zipa? Give a Zipa away for Christmas to the one that you love. Really show them how much you love them by you getting a good night's sleep, by getting the other one next to you to stop snoring. Zipa.com, ZYPPAH.com. I mentioned last night the conference season is getting ready to kick off, and the first one for us is the Conscious Life Expo, February 10th through the 13th at the LAX Hilton. Just click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com for tickets and info. Look at the speaker list this year. Yes, we're going to broadcast on Friday. Saturday, I'll be hosting the Ancient Aliens seminar, or the Ancient Aliens panel. And I'll be introducing people, and George Norrie's got his thing, too, as well. So I'll be there all weekend. Come and hang out with us, all the other Fadernauts. Come meet Rita and do it. Other speakers, check this out. This is all in one place. David Wilcock, Corey Good, Richard Dolan, Linda Moulton Howe, David Hatcher Childress, George Norrie, Mike Barron, Asim Haramain, Laurie McDonald. Laurie McDonald's going to be there. Jason Martell, Sean Stone, William Henry, Danny Sheehan, Whitley Strieber, Daniel Brinkley, Laura Eisenhower, Del Bigtree from Vaxxed, Lisa Garr. And the list just keeps going. It's long. I could list all 50, 60 speakers here, but that would take 10 minutes. Go right now and click. Get your tickets and info right now over at ConsciousLifeExpo.com. Let's get the show cracking. Today, our dead guy's birthday is the one and only Randy Rhoads. 1956 to 1982, died at the age of 25. And that's it, man. That guy changed the world. And then left us at the age of 25. What a mark he left, huh? Randy Rhoads, happy birthday, brother. You're up there somewhere. Shredding. On this day in history, 1917, the Great Halifax Explosion. 8 million tons of TNT loaded on a Belgian steamer and a French freighter explode in Canada's Halifax Harbor, leveling part of the town, killing nearly 1,600 people and injuring another 8,000. 8 million tons of TNT and ammunition. Insane. 1917. All right, Fader fact. This is crazy. This is like disturbing. Louis Chevrolet, the founder of Chevrolet, died bankrupt and poor. Yeah, because he was working as a mechanic for Chevrolet, the company that he started. That is a Fader fact. All right, let's get going here. I've been keeping silent on this word. It's disturbing just for me to even say it. Pizzagate. How many times have you heard me talk about it? Well, I mean, none that I can remember. I may have been forced into saying the word, but I have never been on the offensive side of it. I've never brought up Pizzagate. Have not. What is Pizzagate? Well, it's a ridiculous, dolted, that's a good word too, dolt, because it applies here. Dolted, but detailed conspiracy theory that a pedophile ring is operating out of a Clinton-linked pizzeria called Comet Ping Pong. All right. Here we go. Its origin. On November 4th, 2016, Reddit user Dumb Scribbly Unctious published a thread titled Comet Ping Pong Pizzagate Summary to subreddit r/the Donald, which is a community of Donald Trump supporters, which touched off a complex and detailed, whacked, made up, fictitious conspiracy theory involving WikiLeaks' release of emails from former Hillary Clinton presidential campaign chair John Podesta, child exploitation, and a Washington, D.C. pizzeria called Comet Ping Pong. Now, none of it, absolutely none, was true. James Alefantis, the owner of the pizzeria, apparently gay, like that matters. It doesn't. But he was named. Comet Ping Pong is named. And I'm going to ask all of you right now, what was he guilty of? Well, let me answer it for you. He was guilty of owning a pizza shop in Washington, D.C., and he's been convicted of owning a pizza shop. He's not being investigated by law enforcement. He's never met Hillary Clinton. And, well, you know what? Actually, seriously, I'm not going to get into those details because, quite frankly, they don't matter. It's all fictitious. All of it. All of it. Do I need to say it again? Do I? Because I will. Ridiculous. And although the original Pizzagate post was deleted at some point between the 4th of November and the 21st of November, archived versions of it contained what appeared to be the original post in its entirety, and a subreddit dedicated to the controversy, r/Pizzagate, was created in the interim. A brief and incomplete summary of the theory is this. Comet Pizza is a pizza place owned by James Alefantis, who is the former gay boyfriend of David Brock, the CEO of Correct the Record. It's been the venue for dozens of events for the Hillary campaign staff, and John Podesta had campaign fundraisers there for both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. John's brother and business partner, Tony Podesta, had his birthday party there every year. It's also a dive that, according to reviews and photos, has hidden bathroom doors and creepy murals. The bathrooms in particular have murals exclusively of nude women, as well as a great deal of graffiti relating to sex. Reviews of the restaurant are bizarrely polarized. Websites describing it as positively note that there are regularly unsupervised children running around. Their menu include a pedophilic symbol, as do the signs and decorations of other neighboring businesses. The music acts and the posters promoting same acts are bizarre in their presentation, content, and lyrical focus, but are still promoted as being for all ages. The overtly sexual content would suggest otherwise. The same has taken place in reference to videos recorded inside Comet Ping Pong by people that frequent the restaurant establishment, as well as video referencing Comet Ping Pong positively from the exterior. While initially not the central focus of the investigation on the onset, Comet Ping Pong is a much more overt and much more disturbing hub of coincidences. Everybody associated with the business is making semi-overt, semi-tongue-in-cheek, and semi-sarcastic inferences towards sex with minors. The artists that work for and with the business also generate nothing but cultish imagery of disembodiment, blood, beheadings, sex, and, of course, pizza. Now, what is going on here? I, Jimmy Church, did not get sucked in. I knew from the very word go. I did 2 seconds of research. I went, this is amazing. Nobody's going to buy. And I started to pop up on Twitter. I started getting emails, text. Dude, Pizzagate, man, Pizzagate. Check out the video, man, Pizzagate. I'm like, what are you got? How far alt-right whacked out is this audience that you guys are going down that road? And you know who you are because those out there that you know who emailed me, who texted me, who tweeted me, who PM'd me. You know who you are. How whacked out are you? Get yourself together. Tighten up your shoelaces. Pull up your pants and get back to reality. Get back to me. Come back. Several pages were linked to support the details of the claim. An email in which David Brock was described as batshit crazy by Clinton associate Neera Tanden. And the most primarily focused Alefantis and his loose ties to the Clinton campaign. Who cares? He lives in Washington, D.C. He had a romantic relationship with David Brock of Media Matter. Who cares? What does that have to do with anything? So then, users tracked down his Instagram account, which has since been deleted or restricted. Again, that doesn't matter. Which said that the Instagram account hosted images of children, gay clubs, drugs, and bizarre imagery. And people started creating fake pages, fake photographs grabbed from around the net, which were then sent to me. And right now, there is somebody listening to my voice that knows what they sent me, knows what they posted, and knows what they tried to do. And I said, back off. And you know who you are. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. It's not real. Stop. Do not burn my eyeballs with this crap. This post popped up on the morning of 11/7. We recently found the Instagram account of James Alefantis. The contents of it are indescribably bizarre, and the contents of the post and the comment chains are weird. He doesn't have any children, nor do his closest associates. What is this crap? But the photos seem to be a near constant assortment of different children, a variety of ages intermingled, but about gay bars and clubs and photos of common rape and drugs and piles of foreign currency. What is this? This made-up crap. Now, Trump supporters on sites like Reddit and 4chan, where all of this was created from, and don't get me wrong, love Reddit, love its foundation, love its purpose and its meaning, and its place in internet history. Important. Same thing with 4chan. And the freedoms that have been given for Reddit and 4chan are something that cannot be impeded. Cannot. That would be censorship. And that's why we love Reddit, and that's why we love 4chan. But this is taking stuff too far. Reddit and 4chan have been trying to connect the WikiLeaks release of the Clinton campaign chair Podesta's hacked emails for any salacious scandal evidence. And in the end, they didn't have anything. Nothing was there. Nada. Nothing. So, well, I guess, I don't know, somebody's driving down the road, sees a Domino's pizza, and says, hey, wait, wasn't there something about Podesta and pizza that was on Reddit? Hey, let's create something. So Trump supporters on 4chan and Reddit began to focus on Pizzagate and those dumb, stupid connections between Podesta and emails mentioning pizza that they claimed were so sinister. Pizza. Sinister. Oh, the hoa. Well, they wondered, did Podesta, why would he have a handkerchief with a pizza map on it? Oh, man. There's something there, man. That's pedophile. A handkerchief. Pizza. And they just wondered out loud, why would Podesta get so many emails about eating pizza? Well, to me, and anybody reasonable that has a brain, just maybe dude likes pizza. I do. Do you? What does that mean about you? Maybe pizza's a big thing in politics in Washington. It certainly is in New York and Chicago with the mafia. Same thing, right? Right? I don't know. I've never been to a pizza joint in D.C., but I have been in Chicago and New York City. And you know what? Pretty much they seem okay to me. I'd go back. Wait. There's a pizza place across the street from me right now, from the bunker. Hey, I'd better check for hidden tunnels connecting to the Malibu underwater base. There's something sinister going on. You see how stupid that sounds? Totally, absolutely retarded. Because it is. To the alt-right, and I mean the way screwed up to walk straight alt-right, of one that I like to consider myself a member. I do. But sometimes, how is pizza a code word for illegal sex trafficking? What is next? In the 2008 email released by WikiLeaks, Alefantis thanked Podesta. Thanked him for attending a fundraiser at the restaurant, but regretted not making him a pizza. Sinister. Right? Just maybe dude didn't make him a pizza. And then that draws in everybody. They're crazy, whacked out people that want to mess with your mind. The restaurant's murals. Made it up, of course. Creepy. What? And the sliding doors in front of the restaurant's bathrooms. They're hidden rooms, man. Hidden rooms. Articles proliferated everywhere on websites that publish our favorite thing, fake news. The conspiracy peddling spilled out over into the real world as Comet Ping Pong, Alefantis, and his restaurant's employees start receiving threatening phone calls, text messages, social media. They can't walk down the street. They can't go to work. Neighboring businesses like the Little Red Fox and Politics and Pros are getting all of the spillover. Is this cool? I'm asking you right now. Do you think this is cool? Do you think this is funny? On December 4th, 2 days ago, some dude walks into Comet Ping Pong carrying an assault rifle. An assault rifle. Walks in there because he wants to go find the hidden rooms and the tunnels and he wants to go save some kids. A dude walks in with an assault rifle in front of families who were there trying to eat. Wait for it. Pizza. Do you think this is funny? Do you think this is cool? Do you think this is right? I don't. Do you post anything about Pizzagate? Have you posted anything about Pizzagate? Have you tweeted anything about Pizzagate? Have you retweeted anything about Pizzagate? If you did, you are part of the problem. One of the things that I enjoy most in life is the crazy alt-right wing nutto conspiracy crazy nut. God be praised. I love them. But this Pizzagate crap is wrong. It's not funny. It's not cool. And when you start making stuff up out of thin air about real people and real businesses, bad things are going to happen. And the end of the story. Is there an end? No, there isn't an end. Now, as if they haven't learned their lesson. The gunman was an actor. Paid for by the Clintons. It's got to stop. They don't care. They don't care about you. They want clicks, and they are enjoying how far they can mess with your mind. Think about that. Anybody post anything on anything with Fade to Black tied to it about Pizzagate is going to get bumped, dropped, and punted. Do not associate yourself with me. We will not do this. That's why I haven't mentioned anything about it. I knew it. I wasn't going to fan the fire to these flames. And if you have, and you got suckered in, shame on you. And I'm speaking directly to you. They never had my mind. I didn't bite. You, my friends, are welcome. This is Fade to Black. Remote viewing night with Courtney Brown and Dick Allgire on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter right now, @JChurchRadio. Send me an email, I dare you. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. It's a holiday season with hope in the air. Things to look forward to and no time for despair. Health can be a challenge, and so can the mail. So Get the Tea wants to help you by giving you a sale. Buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month for free. No limit. That's buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month free. That's a savings of $35. Where? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Scroll down on the front page and find the Buy 2, Get 1 free ad. Click it and save. Orders over $100 get free shipping. Send the gift of life. change T at GetTheT.com. We have many, many non-GMO organic supplements just waiting for you. This holiday season, enjoy health and Thanksgiving with GetTheT.com. Want to call us? 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. GetTheT.com is a proud sponsor of doing what's right. That's GetTheT.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fader-Knots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I've calmed down. I've relaxed. Courtney Brown is here. Courtney is going to bring me back. Why? Courtney is a mathematician and social scientist who teaches in the Department of Political Science at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Independent of his work at the university, he is also the leading scholar on the subject of remote viewing. That's right, as it is done using procedures that were developed by the United States military and used for espionage purposes, or procedures that are a derivative of those methodologies. Dr. Brown is the director and founder of the Farsight Institute, a nonprofit research and educational organization dedicated to the study of the phenomenon of non-local consciousness, known as remote viewing, and has published peer-reviewed research on the subject in premier scientific outlets. He is the author of Remote Viewing, The Science and Theory of Non-Physical Perception. In this book, he analyzes data and develops a new theory that explains the remote viewing phenomenon as a consequence of superposition formation on the quantum level. His website, which is one of the best, is farsight.org, and I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, Dr. Courtney Brown. Courtney, good evening.
Hey, Jimmy, this is great. I was blushing. All that was a great intro. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I'm digging the new hair, man. Digging the hair.
Yeah, the bald look didn't work on me. You know, I was doing bald for a while because I was trying to be hip. Like Pitbull. Then I have an African niece, a little girl that's short, not young, but short.
Right.
And she just looked at me and said, "Why do you shave your head?" And I said, "It's hip, it's young, it's new, it's great, Pitbull, the rapper." And she just looked at me and she looked down at the ground. She said, "You ain't no Pitbull." And that was the end of it. That was the end of it. So I just said, "Oh gosh, I just grew it." Anyway, I have it back. So there it is.
Listen to the kids. Always, they are smarter than us.
From the mouth of babes,
Right.
They just tell you that way it is. I ain't no Pitbull.
Oh, man.
That was one of the great dunderhead moves of my life to try the bald look. But anyway, live and learn.
One of the things that I enjoy about you and your work and your personality is out there in the real world, in the news cycles and what's going on, stuff that you deal with every day and you do it well. But I go and I watch you and I listen to you and you center me. And you just have that ability to do that to people. But it was funny because the other day you and I talked, I think it was last week, and I called you up and said, what's going on? You go, "I'm meditating." And I was like,
"Oh, yeah. You called me while I was meditating."
Yeah, and that is you, man. You center me. So there you go. And watching you over the last week and listen to how you do stuff and how you present, you just do it so well, man. And don't ever change, Courtney. Don't Don't let people like me affect you, okay?
No, you're kind, but I like coming on your show and I like dealing with you. But the only thing is that, I guess change is permanent with me and I guess most people. So, just like the hair came back, just like the hair went away and then the hair came back. So you never know what'll happen next year. But, change is permanent, but it's on the other hand, that's part of the consistency. That's part of the sameness that we always keep. I keep looking, let me be honest, every single day. In fact, it starts in the morning when I wake up and it ends at night right before I go to sleep. I say, what else can I do? What different thing can I do to change the way humanity is going right now? And I just look at all of the stuff that I'm doing, and I keep getting the same feeling. I'm supposed to keep doing what we're doing here at Farsight, that there's going to be a reaction. I'm not doing this to get 15 minutes of fame. I'm not doing this, or definitely not doing it for money.
Right.
And I'm definitely not doing it for any reason that anybody else in any normal profession would say is a logical thing to do. So, the only thing I do, though, is I'm continuing with this, thinking that with absolute certainty at some point, the planet is going to change. The whole species is going to turn, and it's going to turn in the direction of consciousness being non-local. We're more than our physical bodies, that we got lost in these physical bodies, and the extraterrestrials are real, and they've been here for a long time. Those are the basic elements that are going to happen. And when that happens, it's going to be a blankety-blank storm like no one's ever seen. Most of the courses at the university are going to have to be changed. I mean, rewritten from the bottom up. So much of physics is going to have to be changed. So much of the social sciences is going to have to be changed. Some courses will remain the same. French will remain the same. Spanish will remain the same. I'm a mathematician. The math courses will stay the same. And no one has any quibbles with the mathematics, for example, of special relativity, general relativity, which is theory of gravity, and also quantum mechanics. No one has any quibbles with that. It's the interpretation of these things.
Right.
Especially the interpretation of the quantum stuff and the generalizability of the quantum stuff. So all of that's going to have to be rewritten from the ground up, and it's going to happen so fast. It's going to be a storm, an intellectual storm like you and any of your listeners have never seen before. And I'm pushing the envelope here knowing that it doesn't matter what our audience is now. There is going to be a critical moment when it flips. And when it flips, it will be the biggest show on a planet that has ever happened, probably maybe in the history of our galaxy. It's going to be such a big deal. That's why so many extraterrestrials are flying around this place. But that's why this is such a huge, role of interest to see what happens when we do this. I mean, are we going to flip out and go berserk, or are we going to? How are we going to handle this? I'm convinced it's going to be great, but that day, however it turns out, is going to be it'll be the soap opera show of the galaxy, and it's going to be really fun, and it's going to be in our lifetime, Jimmy.
Courtney, let me ask you this: were you ever like a butt cheese? Were you ever a negative person, and then you found yourself, centered yourself, and made changes and turned yourself into who you are? Or were you always this version of Courtney Brown?
Pretty much always this version of Courtney Brown. Although I grew, there were many challenges, many things that happened, but I always had this personality. These personalities that we have seem to transcend the person that we are. So they seem to come from before, and then they blend into who we are today. So I'm assuming that before I was Courtney Brown, I was the same guy, and very similar to yourself. Before you were Jimmy Church, you were the same kind of guy. The personalities persist into our lives.
Right.
And so I was basically the same. I didn't go through any type of spiritual transformation that suddenly said I saw the light and suddenly I'm very excited about those. No one's laughing anymore, but in the old days, like 1990s, everyone thought, I just simply lost it. Everyone was laughing. They thought I was deluded. Nobody anywhere is laughing anymore. There's no laughing at any university. There's a deathly silence because they know this is going to collapse. Everyone's like, it's like holding your breath. It's like the movie Waiting to Exhale.
Right.
It's like they're holding their breath. It's like, this can't be real. And some are still somewhat angry, but nobody's laughing. And the ones who are angry silently or to themselves. Nobody's open about it. So we really come a huge way. And it's very interesting how it's going to turn out.
Well, what do you think about, here we are, it's December 6th, right? We're nearing the end of 2016. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think that we're going to look back at 2016 and certainly the developments throughout 2017 as a very pivotal time in our history. And if you think about what went down this weekend, you had the Dakota Pipeline decision that was made by the Army Corps of Engineers. That was a big deal. You had the Prime Minister of Italy resigning, Prime Minister of New Zealand. You had that crazy vote in Austria. We've had Brexit this year. And, of course, Trump being elected as president. Pretty crazy last month or so on the minds of the world, the conscious of the world, the pounding of news and life-changing events. What do you think about all of that?
I think about it a lot because I wonder how what we do fits into that, because I originally thought that it would be better for what we do to have people in power who were going to have sort of a continuation of things that are in the past. But I also thought at the same time that people in power who are continuation of stuff in the past aren't going to change anything either. So when I look at the American election, when I look at the Brexit vote, when I look at the vote that just happened in Italy, and I look at the two people that are going to be running for president of France, which are both thinking in terms of significantly changing their relationship with the European Union, what I see is that there is a time when people are actually demanding fundamental change, that they're not simply trusting the people who are making decisions for them. And while the politics of the United States or the politics of Britain or politics of Italy, politics of European Union, they don't relate directly to what I do or what we do here at Farsight, but indirectly it tells you that the people of the world are really looking for new things, new answers, that they're not simply taking what the so-called powers that be or the authorities have been telling them at face value. They're throwing everything out. They're throwing not just the bathwater out, they're throwing the whole bathtub out and the kitchen and the kitchen sink with it.
Right.
And probably half of the house. I mean, they're throwing everything out. And so from a psychological perspective, this is a very pregnant time for the work that we do at Farsight. People are really open to new ways of thinking. So that's how I look at it. I look at it not in terms of who won the American election or what's going on in Britain or what's going on in Europe. I look at it in terms of the psychology of the people. And the psychology of the people seem to be more open now than I have ever seen them in my life. And so this is, in a way, in terms of real fundamental change on the planet, this is really good. To be quite honest, I don't think who's president of the United States or what happens to the European Union has any real major thing to say relative to the changes that will be occurring because of the work we're doing at Farsight. Meaning I actually think that the work we're doing in Farsight will be much more important, much more far-reaching than any presidential election, any Brexit vote, any European vote, any European Union vote, or anything else. Because what you're talking about is a complete change in the way people think, not just about themselves, but the way they think about governance. You know, Jimmy, when we talk about governance, you normally think about whether we should have this leader in or that leader in, whether we should be in friends with the Russians or enemies with the Russians, whether we should be friends with the Chinese or enemies with the Chinese. You think about things like that. But the reality is the most important ingredient in all of the stuff that we do with respect to governance is that we govern ourselves through secrecy. We allow other people to make decisions for us in the presence of secrecy, meaning they'd make decisions and then we go along with whatever they do. And people seem to be changing in that regard. They don't trust whoever's been doing these things behind closed doors. Well, remote viewing and the work we're doing at Farsight, that's clearly demonstrating that at least with regard to big issues that you can invest the time and energy to do, it's actually possible for a species to govern itself in the absence of secrecy. That is bigger than anything else we've ever faced. It's bigger than anyone who's ever run for president. It's bigger than any vote that they've ever had in Europe or Britain. It's bigger than anything. The idea that the whole human species can govern itself in the absence of secrecy, meaning they're the big ones, the really big ones, can actually be all found out, and people can understand that these things happen. It will change literally everything when people that not only are governing know that anything they do can be found out, but that the people themselves know that there can be a diversification of sources of information. Jimmy, how much complaints have you heard recently about the New York Times, CNN, the major news outlets for missing the election, predicting the wrong people, reporting a bias, and so on like that? In a very real sense, we're approaching a time in which the manipulation of the masses won't be so easy. That the masses will, at least for those who are wishing or wanting to know, it won't be forced on them, but for those who are wishing and wanting to know, can actually have access to information. This goes way beyond WikiLeaks. This goes way beyond Snowden. This goes to the ability of humanity, independently, without any type of theft of information, to learn things about themselves, about decisions that have been made in their name, wars that have gone on with fictitious rationales, that literally anything can come to light. And once remote viewing is accepted as a mainstream phenomenon, or as a real phenomenon by the mainstream, even the news outlets will get some information from it and report that. It's an alternate source, and people will begin to know that they don't have to rely on other people, other organizations to get stuff, that there are other outlets that can be trustworthy.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And, going throughout history, if you look at a couple of stages, if you go to the origination of everything as far as democracy goes, and you go back to ancient Greece, it was all about, for the people and removing the secrecy, right? Mm-hmm. And even our founding fathers, that's how this country was supposed to have been. That was the foundation, and it was for the people, we the people. And
now you understand, back in those days, we the people was a quite constrained list. They had no intention of giving people who were women, minorities, people who worked for a living, hourly wage type people. No, those people were not included. Right. We the people meant wealthy, land-owning
Freemasons,
male elites.
Yeah, right.
People that.
But what I mean is that was always the message, right? Yeah, that was the message, and we keep going back to. I don't know if there's a government on this planet. I don't care if it's Tonga, right, an island in the Pacific somewhere that isn't ruled by secrecy, right? We keep coming back to that, breaking that constraint, and those change would be an amazing thing. You're absolutely right.
This actually gets back to what you just said. When they said we the people, and then I commented it was a very limited constrained group of who we the people actually were. Well, that actually hasn't changed. You see, what happens is they have democratically given the vote to more people. It took, for example, till 1980 for Switzerland to give the right to vote to women. But as time has gone on, the right to vote has extended to more and more and more people. But while that has also gone on simultaneously, You've seen an increase in the role of secrecy for those who are powerful elites to control things behind closed doors. So while you have voters voting, they're not really making direct choices on how they should be governed. They're not being given actual information. The question that comes out of every White House briefing is, no matter who's in power, is it regardless of power, regardless of party, is how do we need the people to react? It's not, do the people have a right to know, but how do we need the people to react? It's always the manipulation of the public.
Right.
So in reality, we're still back at the Founding Fathers' Day when they constrained it to a small group of people. So the small group of people, that's still the idea, except that rather in the Founding Fathers' Day, they did it out in the open, so you didn't need the secrecy. Now, secrecy has become the way governance occurs because they gave the vote out to everybody.
Right.
So now we're talking about a fundamental change that really has never been experienced on the planet. If you go back to the Founding Fathers' days, it was openly just a few people who could participate. Now everyone can participate, but you have the same effect through secrecy. So now we're actually going to we're entering a realm that has never existed on the planet. Even the ancient Greeks, it was a slave society. Romans and the Senate, it was a slave society. We've never had a situation in which, of the type that we're entering now, where we not only don't have a controlling elite that has manipulative capabilities to run everything behind closed doors, but we are entering a society in which there is going to be ability to get information of the deepest and the most amazing secrets. So the whole idea of extraterrestrial life, for example, something that is not allowed to be taught on the university campuses anywhere to this day. Things like that, all because the official authorities have ridiculed it. Well, that's the easiest way to control things. You ridicule it, and then all the universities clam up. You can't even talk about it on the university levels anywhere. I'm not talking about my university. I'm talking about all universities, including universities outside the United States. So you're talking about a fundamental change in access to information. And that's never happened before, Jimmy. It's never happened. Not in the Greek days, not in the Founding Fathers' days, and certainly not now. In fact, Jimmy, what you can say is what we have now, we do not have democracy. What we have is a form of government called directed democracy, meaning it has all of the paraphernalia, all of the procedures for democratic participation. People go to the voting booths, they vote on a certain day, things like that. They have campaigns, they have advertisements, all that. But the real the real governance is done behind closed doors. So we call that a directed democracy. So now we're actually looking at the prospect of entering a realm where the human species is going to have to come to grips with the concept of a real democracy everywhere, including the United States. That's never happened before. So that's what we're looking at.
Have you ever mentioned E.T. at Emory in one of your classes?
I do not mention that in any classes at any university. I have spoken. I taught at UCLA. I've spoken at. I've taught at the. I've taught math courses at the University of Michigan in the ICPSR summer program for 12 years. I was a faculty there, and so I am paid to do a job. If I'm a butler, I'm paid to serve tea.
Right.
Well, I'm a mathematician. I'm paid to teach statistics, nonlinear dynamic equations, nonlinear modeling courses, things like that. That's what they pay me to do. They don't pay me to do things that I do outside of the university. So that's why I do the stuff that I do with Farsight outside of the university. However, I know that the stuff that I do at Farsight is going to win. I know we're going to win. And what that will mean is there'll be a huge change in the thinking of the planet. And at some point in time, all universities will demand it. At some university, and no university is going to want to be left behind. At some point, all universities are going to say, this now has to be done. And what's probably going to happen is you'll get orders from the presidents of various universities all the way on down, where the presidents are saying, you departments fix this problem or I'm going to have heads roll. That's what's going to eventually happen. The departments, these colleagues, these academic colleagues, they are not going to go willingly. They're going to resist until people at the very top say, no, this is an issue relating to survival, the academic survival. It's relating to money. It's relating to funding. You're talking about huge quantities of National Science Foundation money, grant money, all the things like that. Universities are economic aggregators. And when presidents and other administrators say, no, we're risking the bottom line by having our faculty resist these types of ideas, we're not going to do that. So universities will not allow faculty to put the university in financial jeopardy. They're going to say there's money to be gotten by studying this stuff. It's now mainstream. Fix it or move aside. So that's going to happen, and I'm fully aware that that's going to happen. It's going to be a bit of an issue for me too, because I've not been, with this remote viewing stuff. There's nobody to give us money, so I've not been involved in the big grant writing stuff. Grant writing is very mainstream. It goes through a peer review process. You don't get anything unless you're filling potholes of somebody else's highway. So when that time happens, there's going to be a gold rush in the funding agencies, and I'm not really up to speed on how to do that. So I'm going to have to get a lot of help, university help, from wherever I am to get that funding into place, because no one's written grants of this magnitude, grant applications of this magnitude for things like that. It's the studying of non-local consciousness, remote viewing, the idea of everything's going to have to change in physics and everything. So no one's ever written grants like that. So there's no sort of cookie cutter for how to do it. And that's going to be a big time. Anyway, that's going to have to, the administrators, the college administrators, everywhere and every university, they are going to demand immediate action really fast, because they're not going to want to miss out on the cash flow. When, the granting agencies say, hey, look, we're open to proposals for grant, and you're talking about hundreds of millions and billions of dollars of grant money, they're not going to, the administrators are not going to blink. The universities are economic aggregators. That's what they do. They're not paradigm busters. They're economic aggregators. And when suddenly it becomes an economic issue, nobody's going to be able to hold those administrators back. They know the bottom line. So anyway, I'm waiting for that time. It's not happened yet. But we're doing stuff now at Farsight that is making it inevitable.
Well, we're going to do that. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to do just that. We're going to discuss the Time Cross project. Very, very cool. But, well, you know what? Get ready for my first question when we come back. Our guest tonight, Courtney Brown of the Farsight Institute. Farsight.org is the website. This is Fade to Black. More with Courtney right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Kathleen, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
How you doing? It's Jimmy here from Zipa. Today I wanted to tell you about my efforts to achieve global elimination of snoring. It all starts with respect. Respect for yourself and respect for others. Listen, you think you're being a nice guy or a nice girl by letting the guy or girl next to you sleep and snore every night. It's the ultimate disrespect to have that happen. You wake that person up and you tell them, go to Zipa.com now. ZYPPAH.com. We're not going to tolerate this, all right? Snoring is not okay. Someone next to you is snoring, you tell them to buy a Zipa. ZYPPAH.com. I know that you're listening to these snoring things and you're thinking, well, it don't apply to me. I don't have these problems. A lot of people are in denial, but it's true. Listen, if you're snoring, you got to stop it. What you got to do is get this fixed. Get a Zipa and change your life. ZYPPAH.com. JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're of the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, the one and only, seriously, Courtney Brown of the Farsight Institute. Website is farsight.org. Just click on it over at the website. It's right there, take you over. Lots of really, really cool stuff. And Courtney, a couple of months ago, I know you'll remember this conversation. I called you up and I said, dude, got to get you on the show. We got to talk about the Time Cross project. And you said to me, I'll refresh your memory, Jimmy, we can't, I don't want to get involved in predicting world-changing events. That's not what we're doing. And you were kind of freaked out about that. Do you want to take the opportunity now to kind of explain your position on Time Cross and why that isn't the case and you don't want to, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you don't want to freak people out.
Yeah, that particular conversation we had was very pregnant, and I was glad you raised it, because the purpose of Time Cross is to demonstrate that we can use remote viewing to predict the future 1 month in advance, month after month, and so on. And if I was a normal type of internet, YouTube type of person that you see so often, would I have possibly turned you? Would I have turned you down? I mean,
right?
You were offering me free publicity for something we were doing, and I said no. I actually don't want to talk about this thing. So obviously, what we're doing here goes way beyond just grandstanding. This is something real. And so the thing is, that particular month that you called, we had some results that we didn't fully understand. It had some, what looked like high-speed, hypersonic missiles coming in, having an impact, and causing a big explosion. And it was sort of scary. We didn't really know. And we didn't want to sensationalize it because we didn't understand it. We had the remote viewing, but we don't understand what it is until after the events happened. So what happened is we had the remote viewing results come in, and the particular sessions I think you were talking about then were the ones by Dick Allgire, who's going to be on after me.
Right.
And they were sort of scary to us as well because we didn't fully understand them. And at the end of the month, we didn't see any type of like high altitude missile coming in. And at the very end of the month, we were saying, gosh, did we get it wrong? And so that's what we didn't want to get into. And then I put out a summary video sort of saying, hedging our bets, saying, it looks like we don't really understand these results. And then a couple days after that, I was able to get film from the Russian Ministry of Defense of their cruise missile attacks in Syria. And we actually had footage of exactly what happened.
Right.
And what happened was these Caliper missiles, cruise missiles, launched from the Mediterranean, launched up. They went real high altitude, a huge storm. They come in, they're hypersonic missiles. And then we compared Dick Allgire's remote viewing session to the Russian film of their cruise missile attacks, and it was an exact match. So you see, at the time that you called, we didn't know what it was going to be, and at the time when the month ended, we still didn't have enough information. That tells you that when the month ends, we have to do some serious investigation as best as possible to figure out what the session is. Now, we do know what the targets are going to be because we have an automated process of news analysis for this session, for this project. So every month we look at the headline news, front page of the websites for CNN, 2 editions, the international as well as the U.S. edition, plus the New York Times, plus BBC, their news section. So we look at those main 4 outlets, and we count the number of links for every major event. So for everything that happens, we count the number of links. And then we count the links up over the month to find out which is the lead story. Now, for that month, the war in Syria was the major story. That was it. And the major event that happened in that month was a huge escalation of the Russian attacks in Syria using these Caliper missiles. That was it. But the Caliper missile cruise missile attacks, they were mentioned on the headlines of the major outlets, but they didn't have video of the thing. So while they were on the headlines and the most links that occurred clearly said the war in Syria with the Russian escalation was the major story, what we had with these missiles coming in. And so on our venues that we were looking at, CNN, New York Times, BBC, we didn't see the cruise missiles. We just said headlines of saying cruise missiles, missile attacks, Russians doing this, that, and the other thing. So the headlines were clearly saying what was there, but we have to actually see it to be able to compare it with the data. And it wasn't until we actually had the actual footage from the Russian Ministry of Defense that we could make the comparison. And it was astounding. It was almost as if Dick had seen the footage and, copied it. But mind you, it was published on our website, on YouTube, actually, for everyone to see the month before. So when you called, it was before the cruise missile attack, before the whole Russian thing, before the whole escalation, before Aleppo, before all that stuff. And we didn't know. And we had no idea that the Russians were going to escalate and do the Caliper missiles and so on. In fact, we couldn't figure it out till a week after the month was over. So what I didn't want to have happen when you called is for people on the internet and elsewhere to make calls to add 2 + 2 = come up with 7.
Right.
We didn't want them to, given the fact that we couldn't make a definitive statement, all we knew is that there was going to be missile attacks. And if you look at Dick Allgire's sessions, he exactly describes it. He tries the speed, what they look like, what happened with the big booms and everything. We couldn't see any of that till we got the footage, but the footage was amazing. So it was, that sort of explained that particular incident. Now on some and basically, I like talking about the time cross because it's going to be the project that will change the planet. It's going to be the thing that kicks everything over, because we are remote viewing next month's events, the months in advance, and we're publishing it on the last day of the month before the event month. So in the last couple of days of November, we published all the sessions from Dick Allgire, Aziz Brown, and Princess Yunei. We published them as at the end of November for the month in December. But I don't like talking about the results for December because they really haven't happened yet. So we have to compare that at the end of December.
Right.
Meaning I can't say, wow, it was such a great thing, because the events haven't happened yet. We literally have to wait for the events to happen, so then I can say it was a great thing. However, we just finished November, and I can talk about how we did in November. And these were results that were published at the end of October.
Well, let me jump
predicting what happened in November.
Let me jump in right there. I want the audience immediately after the show tonight to go to farsight.org and go to the video presentations that we're referring to now. However, Courtney hasn't done the results side of November yet. It's all compiled, and we're going to talk about that now. But that video presentation isn't out yet. It'll be out in, the next day or so, I'm assuming.
No, it's coming out on the 10th, and you
10th.
are actually going to have the breaking news on that, so you'll get it before it actually comes out. So I'll talk about what happened.
Well,
but, it takes us a while to put the video together. We have to do that. So it's on the 10th of this month. In 4 more days, it'll be out.
Now, and I want to interject here for the audience. The one thing that is astounding with Dick or Daz or Aziz or Princess is the drawings and the illustrations as things are being viewed. And in Aziz Brown, Aziz's, is Aziz's a word? Well, it is now.
Yeah, Aziz's, that's a possessive, Aziz's,
Okay.
apostrophe S. Aziz, A-Z-I-Z, apostrophe S,
Okay.
Aziz's, yeah.
Keep forgetting I'm speaking with a professor. So there you go.
Okay.
But Aziz's presentation, so I'm watching it, and then you and I discuss after that, and I was like, wait a minute, you're absolutely right. And the reason why it's not, because even Aziz didn't know what he was doing, right? He didn't understand.
No, it was done the month before the event,
Right.
so we had no idea.
No idea.
We went into November, at the end of October, we went into November thinking everything was perfectly planned for the election, that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Every news outlet was saying the same thing. There are going to be no surprises. There's no chance in the world that Donald Trump will win.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Now, so I'll let you run from here, but Aziz starts to zone in on a large auditorium. He's seeing this, and he's got a guy speaking at a podium, and he's got the audience, and it's very also the camera view too. I thought was pretty, or the camera view, his view. Well, I guess you can call it his view. Camera view.
You can think of remote viewer like a camera.
Right. And then, but this is the thing. He draws a face. And when he drew the face, this is, and I'm sure you're not going to mention this, but this is what I thought. That's not Trump.
No.
Don't even try to convince me that this is Trump speaking later, because that ain't Trump that he just drew. And I was looking at the face, Courtney, until you disclose. I'll let you do that in a second. But I couldn't figure out who that was. But the drawing is excellent. Now, the election has happened, and Aziz Brown has done his remote viewing. I'll let you take it from there. What were the results?
Well, the face, if you actually put it over a photograph of the person's face, it's a tracing. It's a perfect, exact replica of his face. So basically what it is as follows. We do not permit scheduled events in the Time Cross project, because you already know about it. Because, for example, you can't have the pole vaulting of the Rio Olympics as a possible target, because everyone knows it's going to happen. So it has to be an unscheduled event. So you can't have an election as a scheduled event, because you can't have people going to the voting booth, voting, lines at the polling places, because everyone knows it's going to happen. But the aftermath of whatever happens in the election is perfectly fair game. Meaning anything that's unscheduled, that's unplanned, that happens. Like, for example, we had when the Brexit vote happened. The Brexit vote itself, people going to vote, is not a permissible target in the Time Cross project because it was scheduled. However, the resignation of David Cameron, the Prime Minister of Britain, as a result of the Brexit vote, It's all tied into the same thing, but that is allowed because it was an unscheduled, unexpected thing. So what happened was the election happened. When the election happened, the single biggest story of the entire month was OMG, Hillary Clinton lost. How could this be? All the news stories were saying it was the headline news everywhere in every outlet, full pages, everything. That's the only thing they were talking about. It was so complicated for us to count the links. We stopped counting the links because everything was going off, and there were so many tangential links about this, that, and the other thing, all related to that, because no one could believe that the entire world missed this. Like, where were these voters coming from?
Right.
And so when that happened, we have to say, okay, so that was the biggest event, Hillary Clinton's electoral collapse. Now, when did it start? Well, the absolute, unquestioned, seminal moment when that event started was when John Podesta got to the stand at the Jacob Javits Convention Center, which was the election night Hillary Clinton headquarters. The Jacob Javits Convention Center is in Manhattan, and the whole front section of it is glass, and it's domed, like it's got a sort of a roundish top, but it's in square sections at it. It's along the Hudson River. All the buildings around the Jacob Javits Convention Center are rather low-rise, but further in the distance, as you get further east into Manhattan, the high-rises, the sky-rises start. And that convention center was where all the Hillary Clinton supporters were, and they were all expecting Hillary Clinton to show up. And John Podesta came out late in the night and told, in a 2.5-minute speech, told everybody to go home. Hillary Clinton will not be coming out to speak tonight. We're still counting votes. He was trying to be upbeat, but he was trying to control the situation. Something very bad had happened. They were trying to get the people out of the house, out of the building. And there was geopolitical consequences to what happened. It was very unexpected. Aziz's session got everything. It was a perfect example of one of our best sessions. Now, Dick Allgire has had some of our best sessions. Daz Smith has had some of our best sessions. So this is not unique to Aziz, but it's an example of the type of absolute knock out of the ballpark best sessions of the type we've had before with Dick Allgire and Daz Smith and so on. And so what we have in this situation was Aziz described. He didn't name Podesta, and at the time that this was happening, nobody had any idea that any of this could have happened, because the session was done in October and went up on YouTube in October. He described the Jacob Javits Convention Center to a T. He drew it perfectly. He described the guy's face. He sketched his face, triangular face at an angle. It was if you had taken the sketch and put it on top of Podesta's face giving the speech, it was a perfect match. Now, in the YouTube video that we're going to release in about 4 days, there's a summary of all the results. In the summary section in the description section underneath the video, there'll be a link to a Fox News video recording of John Podesta giving the speech. So you can actually look at the speech and and see it yourself. But if you look at the session that was done in October, there was nothing wrong, Jimmy. There was nothing. He described the buildings around the Jacob Javits Convention Center perfectly. He described the convention center perfectly. He described John Podesta perfectly, even the hair color perfectly. And then he described the people and what their emotions were, what they were going through. He described the world's reaction to what was going on. It was really great.
Let me ask you this really quick before we run out of time, and I've got Dick here on in the batter's box here. Where did you find Aziz Brown and Princess? This is what I call Aziz, them the next.
Aziz Brown was easy to find. He's my son. So yeah, he was easy to find. He lived with me. He still does.
He is talented. He is. Is he at grandmaster status or
yeah, he's equivalent to Dick Allgire and Daz Smith. He doesn't have as much experience as Dick Allgire and Daz Smith. However, his training was all recorded on video, so people can actually go to our website and actually watch him as he went through the steps. And Princess Janae is on the same track. She learned after Dick, but she's going to be equally just like him. And we have another person. We're training now, Melina Hall, and Princess is actually helping with her training on Thursday. So to train these people takes approximately 9 months, and you're talking 2 meetings a week, 6 to 7 hours. So you're talking, you're talking, well, let's round off to 10 to make the math easy. You're talking more than 40 hours, about 50 hours a month of training for 9 months to do this. And it's an enormous investment. And these people that we're training are not wealthy individuals. So we actually pay them to go through the training or they wouldn't be here. And so, we don't get money from them. We pay them to do this training, and then they make it into a career. So this is what's happening with Princess Janae, and that's what's going to happen with Melina Hall when you'll start seeing her soon in the Young Masters section. But Princess has also had a stellar time in this Time Cross project as well. But we've been focusing on this extraordinary session that Aziz has. But you're going to see more extraordinary stuff. If you look at the way he presents things in the December results, which we aren't talking about yet because they haven't happened yet, but the remote viewing results are out. He's really up there with Dick Allgire and Daz Smith in terms of the ability to present this stuff clearly, and so we can look forward to great things. Now he's spent a year in China recently, so I'm glad to have him back. He'll be going back to China to do a more language training there. So
how old is Aziz?
He's 24, just turned 24.
Man alive. And it was funny because when I mentioned to you, I didn't know now that he was your son. I don't know why I didn't make the connection with Brown, but that's me. I'm not a remote viewer. But that being said...
He's African-American, and he has dual citizenship with Kenya, so he's both African-American and African. But he's mine. He's my own flesh and blood. And,
well, when I said to you, I go, man, the kid is good. And you go, he's not a kid anymore.
Yeah, I know. He's not a kid anymore. He's not a kid anymore.
Wow.
But I enjoy working with him while he's here before he goes back to China to do his language training and stuff. So
has he always obviously the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I hate to kick that can around, but has he always had this gift?
Well, he grew up with me.
Right.
So, I mean, he's half me in terms of genes, and he grew up with me. And he's seen all the stuff that I've done with Farsight since the beginning. And he's seen me teach the university. So he's always been around me. And he always wanted to learn remote viewing because he always thought it was really exciting. He loves the idea of extraterrestrials, so on. But he had to wait, just like everybody else.
Right.
We don't train anyone until the age of 18, and in Aziz's case, it wasn't until he was a senior in college, because we don't want any young people to be distracted. They have to get good grades. They have to get into college. They have to do what needs to be done in order to earn a living, and we don't want that to be distracting for young high school kids who could say, "Oh, what's this high school stuff? They don't know anything. This remote viewing stuff is the future." We want them to stick to the plan of getting good grades and getting into school. So we don't teach anybody until they're at least 18 years old. And I did the same thing for my own son. So, if it's good enough for my son, we stick to that plan with everybody.
That's the way it should be, no doubt. I wanted to ask you, with Carrie and now Buzz Aldrin going down to Antarctica, which I find a strange coincidence. Have you done anything with that, or are there any plans in the future?
Well, we did the Atlantis project that featured Dick Allgire on video and Princess Janae on video, and that's available for free on our website. Farsight.org, Farsight, like seeingfar.org, because we're a nonprofit. You can see the Giza Pyramid project that we did with Daz Smith and Dick
Amazing.
Allgire, and
Amazing.
the Atlantis project. And in the Atlantis project, it's absolutely clear that there are artifacts, technological artifacts in Antarctica that date back to about 70,000 years ago, when there was a technologically advanced civilization on Earth that was us, our ancestors, that was about roughly about 100 years more technologically advanced than we are today. And they destroyed themselves. We know exactly why and how they destroyed themselves, and they destroyed themselves by essentially, in a secret project that was military and industrial, they decided to drill through the crust of the Earth to get to the molten lava below. I guess they were going after a heat source or something, whatever they were doing. And they had clean energy, so they didn't need it for that, but they did that, and they blew a hole in the Earth. They popped the balloon. Our Earth is a balloon. It's a giant 8,000-mile diameter ball of liquid molten rock under tremendous pressure, and they thought they could control it. They couldn't. It blew out in the area near New Zealand, which has got the thinnest crust on the planet, the most concentration of lava rock. And this is not actually in dispute among some people, like in the geneticists. They have very, very much agreed that there was a volcanic explosion in that realm of the planet that they call the Toba catastrophe theory, which is Lake Toba in Indonesia. It's in the approximate general area, but it's not really Indonesia. It's on the other side of Australia that the actual thing happened. But they do have the basic idea that 70,000 years ago, there was a volcanic event that killed every human being on this planet except for about 2,000 pairs of surviving humans. Now, we say pairs because they were breeding. So and that can be up to as many as maybe 6, even maximum 10,000 pairs. So we're talking 4,000 to 15, 20,000 people that were breeding survived 70,000 years ago. And we are all, this is not in dispute, we are all genetically related to the same, say, 4,000 people that survived. Now, there might have been a few more survivors, but they weren't breeding. Of the people who were breeding, there was about 4,000 to 6,000 survivors, and we are all, whether we're Aborigine, Caucasian from Europe, African, Latin American, no matter who you are, or Asian, we're all descended from the same 4,000 to 6,000, 8,000 people that survived 10,000 years ago because of this event. And they had technology, and it was a lot of technology, and a lot of it, if you look at the Atlantis project, you'll see the descriptions. A lot of it was in Antarctica. There were heavy facilities down there. They're under the ice mostly right now. Some of them sunk, but and that's the reason there's so much interest in Antarctica. Those scientists and those governments that are investing in Antarctica, they are definitely not going down there looking for mastodon bones.
No, they are not.
No, they're spending the money, taking the risk, because under the ice there's tech.
Really quick, I've got to get Dick in here. Let me thank you first off for coming on with us.
It's been my pleasure, and Jimmy, you have the best, and I always enjoy being on your show.
Where's the best way? Really quick, 15 seconds. Best way to support Farsight.org.
Easy. The best thing you can do is to go to our website and, first of all, subscribe to our YouTube channels, especially the Farsight Press Science channel. And then secondly, watch our mysteries projects. Those mystery projects, they don't cost very much. We have the 9/11 stuff, which is unbelievable. The assassination for JFK, a psychological profile of Adolf Hitler. We have UFO stuff, Phoenix Lights. We also have aliens on Iapetus and the remote viewing of Cydonia Mars, all on video. And when you watch those things, those are the only things that pay our bills. We don't have major contributors giving us hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have very few contributors giving us anything. When you watch those videos, watch our projects, our mysteries projects, that funds our Time Cross project, because that's given away for free. And absolutely every single month, every few days, we have a new video vlog coming out. But every single month, watch our Time Cross project. We have 2 Time Cross project videos out every month, one at the end of every month where we show the predictions, and then a summary for how we did the previous month that comes about 10 days after that. So in about 4 days, you're going to see the summary of what happened in November, and that was a knockout of the ballpark month.
It certainly was. Thank you so much, Courtney. You are the very best, and I'm serious. Don't ever change, my friend. Don't change. Thank you, Courtney. Farsight.org, Courtney Brown. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Courtney Brown, Farsight.org. Coming up next, Dick Allgire. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
You get a Zeepa. You get a Zeepa, you hear me?
What's the name when you snort? It's Zeepa, Zeepa. It's the thing we're craving for. It's Zeepa, Zeepa. You can't sleep all night. Zeepa, Zeepa. And wake up feeling right. It's Zeepa, Zeepa. Makes me love my husband more, 'cause he no longer snores. Zeepa, Zeepa, it's Zeepa, Zeepa.
Zeepa's different than any other device because it actually works. A lot of these other devices, they just bring the jaw forward. That's it. However, the thing that makes Zeepa different, it stabilizes the tongue, basically, with this elastic band. But right here, Jimmy's telling you that this is a unique device. Go to Zeepa now, buy it, and stop the snoring. Get a Zeepa, ZYPPAH.com. Zeepa.com. That's ZYPPAH.com.
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round. And for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. nature'syouth.com. Simple to use, even simpler to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Next up, Dick Allgire. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Any questions for myself for Dick? Hashtag F2BQ. Dick has been remote viewing for over 15 years, and he's definitely in the Farsight stable of Grandmaster viewers. He's an HRVG certified instructor and the vice president of HRVG. He has presented at several IRVA Remote Viewing Conferences and has lectured and trained students internationally at scientific symposiums. He's a veteran television journalist with over 26 years of experience as a reporter, anchor, and producer, and he has worked in Hawaii since 1985 and has been at KITV since 1988. I would like to welcome back to the program the one and only Dick Allgire. Dick, good evening. How is it out there in Hawaii?
It's beautiful, beautiful day today. I was in the ocean. Hey, real quick, I've got to correct something you just said. I need to have you update my my biographical information.
what you got?
This will be 20 years I've been remote viewing, coming up in 1997, and I am not the vice president of HRVG, and I'm not affiliated with HRVG, so I'm not an officer of that group or any group.
You know, that was sent to me a couple of years ago, and I went to check it out, and I appreciate you correcting that, and I couldn't find anything, so I went with it, and
it was correct a couple of years ago, but that's no longer. So, people move on, and I'm not. That's not my position anymore. So
yeah. Okay, so thank you for that. We'll never do that again, Dick. Hey, I wanted to ask you really quick, man. What kind of strat is that you play?
Oh, that is it's a Squire. It's one of the Korean made. I wish I had a real American strat. I had a real American Telecaster back in the days.
Right.
I actually have an Ibanez Artist it's serial number 001. That's my really nice electric guitar. I have four really nice Martins. I have a Martin guitar that I bought when I was 19 years old in 1972. And that thing is so nice.
I had an Ibanez Artist, solid body, double cutaway, black with white trim. And that guitar, to this day, that's the one that got away, right? And I wish I had that guitar back. It was, that guitar was perfect. It was perfect. And I traded it for a Strat. Now I'm a Strat guy, but... Yeah. That was the guitar that got away, man. I wish I still had it.
You get those Strats. We'll talk guitars for a couple minutes.
Sure.
You get that out of phase. I like it on there's 5 positions. I like the one in between on the right. Anyway, yeah, that's good. Okay, I'll tell you my Ibanez guitar story, and then we can get to remote viewing.
Sure.
In 1974, my band played. We were the opening act to Bob Ware's Kingfish,
right,
in Salt Lake City, and I was backstage with Bobby Ware, and he opened his case, and here was this new Ibanez that I'd never seen. It was this double cutaway solid ash with the Tree of Life inlay all up the neck. It was just a gorgeous guitar. I mean, just absolutely breathtaking guitar. And I said, wow, where'd you get that? He says, oh, the Japanese made it for me. It's an Ibanez, and it's a very, very distinctive guitar. Well, a few months later, I got a call, and the drummer that I played with worked in a music store, and he said, Dick, come to the store right now. I said, that's nothing. He said, Dick, come to the store right now. Just get here. Okay, so I drove down, and he introduced me to the Ibanez rep, and the guy opened the case, and there was that same guitar that Bob Ware had been playing. And the guy says, yeah, we made this for Bob Ware, and we're doing it in production now, and it was serial number 01. And I said, I'll write a check right now. So I bought it.
Oh, man.
And that thing, people can see that guitar. If you go to YouTube and type in Do Ter Tom Allgire. So the first word is D-O-O. The second word is T-E-R. The third word is T-U-M. And then A-L-L-G-I-R-E. So Do Ter Tom. Well, either, D-O-O-T-E-R-T-A-M. Do Ter Tom. And it's a music video that I did in Thai. I learned the Thai lyrics in the Thai language. It's a famous reggae song in Thailand. And then I did a music video for it, and I'm playing my Ibanez. So it's one of the things I do in my spare time besides remote viewing.
I've got it up here. I'm going to watch it after the show. I just pulled it up. There it is.
Okay. Here's the story behind this video. I learned to sing this, And what the song is about is a guy saying, my girlfriend left me and she took my Bob Marley CDs and she took my hemp T-shirt, and do Tom in Thai means, how can you do this to me? How can this be? And so I was working for KITV News at that time, and I was going around the island of Oahu, and I took my own camera, and I'd go out to very scenic places, and I'd put on this wig and shoot a little scene for my video. So I was like at a football game out on an island with state officials, and I started shooting this. They all looked at me like I was crazy, and I'd meet people and have them do cameos in the thing. So it was a fun video to do. It's a real silly video, but
I can't wait to watch it. And it says right here, reggae star do for you. Newscaster Dick Allgire. What's that?
There's a reggae guy in Thailand. He's a top reggae artist, and his name is Job To Do. And you'll see his version under my version. This is a famous reggae song in Thailand. And so I made a parody of his character. And I actually printed up fake CDs. And like I was carrying around, you'll see in the video, I'm holding them up for these Japanese ladies. And they believe like I really had a CD out. Like, where can I buy the CD? I'm saying there's no CD. It was all fake. But that's funny. One more thing while I'm plugging my YouTube videos, not just music videos. I have a channel, and you have to search for the channel. It's called Dick's World, and it's all one word: DICKSWORLD. And I've just been putting videos up about life in Hawaii and things that interest me in Hawaii. And I've got a couple interesting. Be sure you look for the channel called Dick's World, DICKSWORLD. Don't look for a video title. If you look for a video of that title, you will get some very obscene, questionable sexual
I can
material.
only imagine, as you said
I
that.
came up with this name. I thought, this is so clever. And then I typed it in to search for it under the search term for videos. And I went, oh, no. But I'd already put it up. But the channel is called Dick's World. So, and there's some interesting, some of my remote viewing videos are up there, too, under Dick's World.
Now, I know I've asked you this before, but I want to get into the Time Cross project and what it's about. And I just think it's an amazing concept, and I think it's really well done. I want to get to that. But as far as you go, how do you go from broadcast journalism, television, news reporters, and producing, everything that is involved in being in television news, because you wear all of those hats, right? How do you go from that to remote viewing? I mean, what happened in your life? Something.
Okay, I'll tell you the event that kicked it off. Okay, first of all, like many people, I think like all human beings, I had anomalous things occur, anomalous occurrences. And I'm talking about, you haven't seen a friend for 8 years, and suddenly you think of them, like just out of the blue, like, hey, I wonder what Cliff is doing, And then Cliff calls you 2 minutes later. It's like, God, why did I think of him? And he was, you think about, I hope my wife's parking space is still good. Like, we haven't signed the contract on that. And then I go, well, that would be bad, but it's not going to happen. Then my wife comes home the next day and says, I've lost my parking space.
Right.
Oh, so we've all had, or you have a dream, a very vivid dream, and then the dream comes true 3 days later. I think all your listeners have had that occurrence. You probably have too.
Sure, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so those are things that happen to you, and they're just kind of unsettling. Like, oh, that was a weird coincidence, or that, I wonder how that happened. It just has a little eerie, unsettling quality, and you don't know what to make of it. So I'd had those throughout my life. And here I was, a mainstream newscaster, and I lived on the other side of Oahu. I lived on the windward side, so it was like a 40-minute drive to work every day. And I would drive to work to anchor the 6 and 10 o'clock news. I'd go to work at 2:30 in the afternoon. And on the way to work, this was prior to the internet, I would listen to news radio to hear what were the major stories so I could have an idea of what was going on when I got to work. And there was an all-news station here in Oahu. And so I'd listen to the news. Well, my radio would be on that station when I got off work at like 11 o'clock. I'd be driving home. And I'm driving home across what we call the Like Highway, which is this beautiful kind of dark road through the mountains and through this dense forest. And it'd be 11 at night. And my radio was tuned to the famous Art Bell.
Right.
And Dreamland at times. And I started listening to, I heard on that show Dr. Courtney Brown. This was 1997 when his book Cosmic Voyage came out, and you just talked to him last hour. And I thought, wow, here's a guy that's a professor at a major university, very credible, and he's talking about remote viewing and saying this is possible and trainable. And I listened to that, and I thought, if that is true, that's just the most remarkable thing. I've got to know more. So I started researching it. Actually, got a hold of Courtney at the Farsight Institute, took a class, came home from that class, and then found a military viewer here in Hawaii that was teaching in-house, and got to train with that guy for 18 years. So here I was, mainstream newscaster by day, and I'd go home in my off hour, either before work in the afternoon or after hours, and doing remote viewing sessions. There was even a time when I was doing, I can now tell this, doing the weekend news, and in between the 6 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news, we would get the late news written, and if there wasn't a lot going on, I would have some time, so I'd go to a quiet place in the station and do a remote viewing session to practice.
Did you see anything that, man, I don't want you to disclose something that you don't want to, but did you see anything that you ended up reporting on the news later because you viewed it? And didn't say anything about it, but...
Okay, I have a great story about that. Let me remember how this happened, because this has been 12 years or more. But I remember that. I remember the visual, and I remember the feedback is okay. I was given a target, and I didn't know what it was. When you're remote viewing, you're given like A1, B2, C3, D4. It's a set of numbers or letters that's randomly generated, because as a remote viewer, you can't know anything about it. So
right.
I'm doing this target, C4LWMZK or whatever, and I'm nodding off, and I'm working this, and all of a sudden, it was one of my most profound remote viewing sessions. I awoke in the blue ocean. I was there. The Pacific Ocean has a certain color of blue out in the deep water. It's like navy blue. It's like this, and there I was at 360 degrees, water around me with waves. And all of a sudden, an airplane came right at me, a small propeller airplane, and it crashed in the ocean like 15 feet in front of me. And it was so startling, so vivid, that it jolted me awake, and I came to in where I was remote viewing, like, yeah, breathless and panting, like, God, just like scared out of my wits. Like this plane I was in the ocean and a plane crashed right in front of me. And whoa. And so I said, gee, what was that? And it turns out the target was U.S. Coast Guard search and rescue event near Hawaii, near future. So the purpose of the target was, what's the next big search and rescue event that will be happening near the Hawaiian Islands? And so what I saw was this plane, a small plane ditching in the water. So I go, okay, that's interesting, and put that down and forgot about it. Ooh, some weeks later, it might have been 2 to 3 weeks later, I had forgotten all about that. I wasn't thinking about it. I was on live TV, and I was reading on the teleprompter, and they go, this just in, the Coast Guard is searching for a small plane that just ditched in the ocean 15 miles northeast of Haleiwa. And so I was reading that. It was the Coast Guard cutter Siska with C-140s and Dolphin helicopters are searching a grid pattern 20 miles northeast of Hawaii after a distress call and this small plane. And I realized, while I was on live TV reading this off the teleprompter, that's what I had seen. That was my target, was the next Coast Guard rescue. And now it was happening. And I went, I saw it. I didn't say it, but I was thinking in my mind, oh my God, I saw that.
What was your face like on the news? Were you the deer in the headlights?
Yeah, for probably a couple moments, I was just like, kind of had a quizzical look in my face. I have done, here's another one. There was a guy, there was a young boy who was 7 years old in 1997 named Peter Boy Kema. Peter Kema, K-E-M-A. And he disappeared on the Big Island, and it was a big disappearance. Where's Peter Boy? There were bumper stickers. Where's Peter Boy? And there was search, and there was this, it was the big, the big missing kid, like what could have happened to him? And his parents said, we left him with an auntie on the island of Oahu, and, we don't know what happened. And it was suspicious. We worked that as a target, the group I was working with, several times over 98 to 99. And our data, we did a report, and we did significant data and location data. We knew that he had been murdered, that his family had held a memorial, and he'd been buried, and then they dug him up and reburied him somewhere else, more secure. And we had a lot of details. And we were secretly working with law enforcement, investigative officials and law enforcement behind the scenes. So I was reporting on this case as a newsman. Well, they have no idea what happened to him. It's a mystery, and they don't know if he's still alive, and they're blah, blah, blah. But I knew from my remote viewing work that he was dead, and I knew where he was, the general area where he was buried. And private investigators got our report, talked with us, and said, we believe you. And they actually went and searched an area where we said the body was. We triangulated to like a 2 square mile area over on the Big Island. So all this was going on behind the scenes. We're working with police. Police is not acknowledging us. At one point, a few years later, a newspaper article came out where someone had gotten onto the fact that our group was working with investigators, and the chief of police and the private investigator hailed our work and said they did really good work and we believe it. They never cracked the case. Okay. Now, December, last week, I think it was December 1st or 2nd, the mother went to court and admitted, pled guilty to manslaughter and will testify against the husband. And I think they'll find his body. And I think the facts will come out to support our remote viewing. So almost 18 years later, I think our work will be verified.
Whoa. That's all I have to say. Can I say it one more time?
Yeah. Well, we have a map. Where like X marks the spot. We have a circle where the body will be in this area.
Yeah.
And I think it will be one of the, if not where his remains are ultimately, where they were the first time. They held a memorial for him, and then the father went and moved him. So I'll keep you posted on that one. That is just breaking. The trial of the father is going to be in April, but the mother has pleaded guilty. So he was murdered, and he was murdered by his family. And
unbelievable. Yeah, keep us posted on that, and then we'll get you back on the show if it plays out like it should. And we'd love to we'll post the map and do that. That's incredible.
Well, I did one in 1998 where it was in class. We're working a project, and we're said tonight's target is LQZV-TMSI, just like, okay, you don't know what it is or anything. We weren't told it was a missing person. I saw a man and a girl, and the man was attacking the girl, and she was just frightened to death and in fear of her life. And then I had him assaulting her and then covering her with branches and things. And then I drew this land area that had a dirt road, a lot of pine trees, and mountain peaks. And I drew this area. And so it was Stephanie Condon, a missing girl in Oregon, or what it was in the Pacific Northwest. So we did that and we published it. About a year later, we're in class and we'd done 100 different targets. So now I'm given a target with a different idea, not told what it was, but it was the same target. And I drew a mountain peak, a dirt road, pine trees, rocks, but the angle was different. It was like I was looking at it from 500 yards to the right. But I saw the same thing, but from different angles. And you can see my sketches side by side.
Right.
And that's interesting. Okay, that was 1998, 1999. In 2008 or 2009, here it is 10 years later or more, I was going to do a presentation on that case. So I was looking up Stephanie Condon, just because I wanted to show my work as what we'd done in terms of what's possible with forensic remote viewing.
Sure.
And I stumble on this thing on the internet, and it says Stephanie Condon's remains found. And I went, oh my God, they found her body. And I looked, and they had a little video clip, and it was exactly what I had drawn. The mountain peak, the road. She was off a road. Hunters found her like 50 yards off this road, and the road was exact with the pine trees. And
absolutely.
So I got feedback on that 10 years later. And as a remote viewer,
I have to take a break right here, Dick.
Eerie.
Dick, we have to take a network break. We'll pick it up on the back side. Stephanie Condon, that's interesting. It's Fade to Black, our guest tonight, Dick Allgire. We'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have sciatica, then you know all about the crippling pain that travels from your lower back down your leg when a spasm occurs. It's brutal. In fact, it's enough to take your breath away. Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream helps relieve persistent, shooting pains associated with the sciatic nerve in the lower back and legs. This natural, homeopathic cream contains the most potent ingredients to soothe even the most excruciating pain associated with sciatica. Stop the pain now. Ask for Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream at your local health food store or go online to trasknutrition.com.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Discussing remote viewing tonight, one of my favorite subjects. And right now, Grandmaster Dick Allgire is with us, live from Hawaii. And Dick, the new project that you guys are doing, the Time Cross project over at the Farsight Institute, is interesting. And I've been wanting to get you guys on, as you know, for a couple of months. And Courtney wanted to hold off until the moment was right. But this is pretty exciting stuff. And do you think that this will help bring it into the mainstream and it starts to validate, again, what you guys are actually trying to do and accomplish for everybody else?
If we do a good job, it will. It's if we describe something significant and it happens, well, we already have. I mean, some of our stuff. Let me promote another video that people can watch for free, and it's on YouTube, and it is God, what's the name of that? The Orlando Massacre. Let me let me find this and get the.
Oh, my producers will find it and get it up. Is it with you?
Yeah, it's on my channel.
Okay, we'll find it.
So let me. I'll get it right here. It's I put up so many videos I can't. Time Cross August, taking it to the street. Okay, Time Cross, the Orlando Massacre. So it's on my Dick's World channel. The title of it is TIME hyphen cross CROSS colon the Orlando Massacre. Time Cross the Orlando Massacre. So that's the first big hit that we had in a month and this is documented. This was published before the event. This was published in May, where I described a Muslim man in South Florida killing people, and then there would be a shrine and a building that was kind of damaged because of this attack, and people killed and a lot of flashing lights. It's a really interesting video. So that was a pretty good hit. And people can watch that for free. Time Cross the Orlando Massacre.
It's already up on Twitter. You got to be
okay.
You got to be faster than that, Dick.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm so old school. I'm an old man. I'm still used to. You go do a report and edit it, and then it's on the 6 o'clock news. You know, it's like now it's up now. Here it is. Go. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, we've had a couple of good hits. Courtney, it's his life's work to have the mainstream realize and accept the reality of remote viewing. I guess he probably talked to you about that the last hour.
Sure.
That's his passion.
Is it a burden? You know what I mean? Is it a burden? To possibly see something like, for instance, the hypersonic missiles? You don't know, right? You only see and you're drawing it. But is that a burden? And
I'll tell you, it's not so much a burden as it's just eerie. It's like a little bit unsettling. When I did the Orlando Massacre, I'm standing there at the whiteboard and I close my eyes briefly and I see so many red and blue lights, like 100 cop cars in one place. And I said, yeah, there's red lights and blue lights and cops all over the place. And I recorded that, and Courtney put it up in April. That was May. I put it up in April. And then I forgot about it. I'm on to other things. I'm doing other targets. And that one is like, okay, I did that. It's over. I'm not dwelling on it. And I got up one day, and this is all recounted in the video. I get up in the morning and Fox News, I turn on the news and it's like 50 dead in Orlando shooting, and it showed all those red lights. And I recognized the scene. And I went, oh my God, that's exactly what I saw. And I'm glued to the TV going, I saw that. I saw this Muslim guy. Oh man. And it's kind of creepy.
What? Well, if you
remote viewing can be unsettling. It still amazes me. I just did a validation target last week. That was target of the week on Lynn Buchanan's site, where you can go get a target ID, work a target, and get the feedback. So I drew it, and I saw this funny looking little guy with a funny hat, like with ear flaps and colorful clothes, and he was weaving little grass or something. And I said, well, he's an indigenous person, and I completely saw these Indians on Lake Titicaca, and that was the target. And when I saw that, it was like, wow, I was right there. I saw it. I mean, even after 18 years, it's still, it's still really cool to be able to do it.
Well, if you're waiting for the event to be covered in mass media and you're doing the remote viewing and you're indeed seeing it, how do you turn that into a practical application?
Oh, well, there's a lot to that question. First of all, doing this project, and I'm taking part of it kind of under protest. I'm doing it kind of like, this isn't how I'm supposed to remote view, but I'll try it anyway to see if it works, kind of thing. Like, Courtney, this violates my protocol, but I'll do it this once. And then he's going, do another one, do another one.
Right.
When you remote view, you're supposed to be totally blind. You are not supposed to know who the tasker is, the purpose of the target, or what it is you're trying to see. So that's just grossly violated by knowing that I'm going to remote view next month's news event. You know it's going to be a major news event, and there's so much to wrestle with. You can't really approach the target cleanly. So it violates protocols of my method.
Yeah, it gets into a gray area there, certainly. If you're not supposed to know absolutely anything.
You expect, okay.
Right.
Earthquake, plane crash, mass shooting, political intrigue,
Yeah, there's going to be some of that.
Event.
Right. There's
going
to be
all that to wrestle with.
Well, there's going to be some of that somewhere in the world in the next month.
Yeah, but we've been, it's a lot to wrestle with, but there have been earthquakes. I mean, there's a lot of earthquakes. There's always earthquakes, but that earthquake in Italy, that was a real significant one. No earthquake in the past few years has gotten the coverage that has.
Right.
The shooting that I described in South Florida was the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. So that was unique. But getting back to why this kind of violates, the target could be anything, and you've got to be willing to accept anything. I once worked an operational target that it turned out what we needed to know was someone was keeping 2 sets of books. He was embezzling. There was an embezzlement going on.
Right.
Now, that's a very subtle target. And it took me about 120 pages of data before I finally saw, there's this guy writing in a ledger, and he's got a secret ledger. He's got a public ledger and a secret ledger. And it was an embezzlement case. And so you can't be going, well, I'm looking for flames leaping out of a building, or somebody shooting something, or people rioting, or bombs falling, or a forest fire, or, any of those real impactful things. A guy sitting at a desk writing in a book is, that's probably not going to be next month's big news event. But you need to be able to have that much openness to the target that if that's what you get, that's what you put down. Like, I once did a target that I said was some land in the desert, and there was nothing going on. There's no machinery, there's no people, there's no structures. I get maybe insects buzzing. There's a stream bed, but there's no water in it. And I knew it was an operational target, and I worked for like an hour and a half, and I'm going, there's no people here. Why am I doing this target? I get like desert landscape. And then finally, an hour and a half into it, I said, okay, well, there's something that I need to see. So it's like buried under the ground, and it's round and it's shiny. It looks like it's round things that are in a tube. And I go, that's all I get. It turned out the target was the Red River Treasure, lost gold that was stolen from a bank in Texas in the 1800s. And I found I described the place where it was buried, but it was less than impactful as a target. I mean, as a remote viewer, do you have the guts to work for an hour and a half for someone and say, this is a bare piece of sandy soil with maybe some insects crawling on it? Like,
yeah, right.
So what I'm getting at is when you do time cross, you're too front loaded. You know it's going to be something with bombs and death and destruction and mayhem and a lot of people being concerned and human impact. If it's going to be a top news story on CNN, you know, I didn't do time cross for November. I put a YouTube video up and I said, look, it's just too noisy. I can't do it. In October, you know, okay, do a time cross. What's going to be the big story in November? Well, the big story is going to be the presidential election. And I know it's either going to be Trump or Hillary. That's front loaded. That's 50-50. I can't remote view that front loaded. I can't do it. I refuse to do one. So I didn't appear on that month's.
Is it possible for somebody to remote view and not even know that it's going on?
To be remote viewing and not know and not realize that you're remote viewing?
Yes.
Oh, I think people do that all the time. I think people are driving down the street not thinking about what they're doing. Their mind is wandering and a thought pops into their head. And I guarantee you, well, I know this. Okay, how can I explain this? It's like once you open the communication pathway, it's open and you learn to recognize it. But I think most normal people, if they wrote down every thought they had throughout the day and kept notes, would be amazed at how much of that came true. Just stray thoughts that seem disconnected that you discount and don't think about.
Right.
Is probably, see, you have a subconscious awareness. We all do. It's part of the human condition. And we're conditioned to not listen to it. We're conditioned that, the 5 physical senses are the important thing. This is what you need to know. And in getting deeper, I believe that the human brain is a filter. The human brain is like your web browser. You plug your computer into a Wi-Fi or an Ethernet. Your computer has all the information in known human history right there is available coming through that line. You need to have your web browser go to a web page or go to Twitter or go to email or go to a YouTube channel, and it will tune it in. So our human consciousness is connected to that greater internet of all consciousness, but our brain filters it. We see within a very narrow spectrum of light waves. We hear within a very narrow spectrum of sound wave frequencies. Yet there are frequencies that go on and on and on, and it's all happening right now. So when you learn a remote viewing protocol, you teach yourself to tune in and pay attention to those other frequencies for brief moments.
And I want to clarify for everybody really quick. The whole point with remote viewing is to not know your target, not know where it's coming from. Like you said, a random set of things, it's sealed. Nobody knows. You go, you view it, and then you check out the results. But what about the opposite of that? Do you ever have fun and pick your own target, like the moon? Do you ever go to the moon and see if there's underground bases or if aliens are on the dark side of the moon? Knowing your target in advance and do that, or is that not remote viewing?
That's not remote viewing, although I'll do it this way. I will drift off in a meditative state, and when I get into where my mind is in that, we call it theta, that moment between sleep and awake,
right,
I can have enough conscious awareness to say, hey, I'm working on a target for Courtney. I need to see it. I was getting a massage one day when I was working a project, and it was really good. She was doing like Reiki or something, and I started going out there, and I went, I got to see this target I'm working on. I got to see this target I'm working on. And all of a sudden, I was face to face with Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh, shut up. Okay.
And it recognized him.
Do finish.
And I didn't know what the target was. I thought, well, okay. I'm getting a massage, and I go, I'm working this project for Courtney, and I know it's something that happened in a city, and I know it seems to be the mid 20th century, and there's sidewalks, and then I knew there was a crowd gathered for like a flash mob. Like, why are all these people here on the sidewalk? And they just all came. They all just came. Why did they all gather here? Like, they all came in the middle of the day. They all just showed up. Why would these people? Some of them work in the area. They work in buildings, and some of them came to see this. And I go, why? They're like, somebody famous is coming. They want to see, or they want to witness something, or see. So I knew it was something to do with that. And then I was still working the project, still hadn't gotten feedback. And so I'm getting a massage the next day, and I'm drifting off, and I'm saying the target ID over and over again. G9F4-LQ. I'm just saying that over and over and over again. And I drifted off, and the visuals came up, and I saw a building, and I was looking down at the street, and I was up high, and I said, oh, okay, I'm getting it. And I lost that, and then I looked, and I was down on the street, and a guy walked up, and he looked right at me, and I went, oh God, who is that? And I got to draw him. So I came back out of that state, and I actually jumped. And my massage therapist was going, "Are you okay?" I just had a little dream, And so I went home and I sketched that guy. I go, I know that. God, who was that? He's got short hair, and he's got this kind of thick neck and a small chin. And I didn't know it was. I go, I know him. Who is that? So I drew it, and then I got feedback, and it was Lee Harvey Oswald, and it was him. Right after the shooting, going, holy shit, I got to get somewhere. I got to get out of here. I got to go meet somebody. I gotta meet my control, because something's out of. Anyway, yeah, that was. So to get back to your question, sometimes I do. We call it like freebasing, which is kind of a drug reference. I don't do that, but to just drift off and just let your subconscious show you what it wants to show you. That's kind of fun, without a specific target in mind.
I just got this question in Twitter, and we've only got 5 minutes left here. And again, thank you so much, Dick. Always great having you on the show. But Maria says CRV, SRV, TRV, IRV, HRV. Why so many variations, and which one for you is the real deal?
Okay. There was one military unit at Fort Meade that was doing remote viewing based on a back engineered by Ingo Swann, and they called it coordinate remote viewing. And that's a certain way. They tell you can't close your eyes, and they tell you it's just perceptions of ideas and concepts. And I've studied that method. Controlled remote viewing, and then Ed Dames changed the terminology so he could call it something else and sell it as his own. He called it technical remote viewing, TRV. Courtney Brown learned from Ed Dames and called it SRV, scientific remote viewing. But it was basically the same methodology. The method there wasn't just one unit. there was one unit that was made public and acknowledged, and I believe it was to keep the skill in the New Age community, and they let out the one that kind of worked, but not all the way, so you couldn't do any harm with it. When the cat was out of the bag and it was allowed to be taught, the guy I trained with was in a totally different, he was in Army Special Forces, and the Fort Meade people didn't know anything about this method. It was a method that says, hey, it's remote viewing, close your eyes and look, but there's a way that you've got to get on to target. You can only look for a certain amount of time and do it in a certain way. And that became the HRVG method, and that's what I use. I've used them all. I've studied them all. And I prefer the method that allows you to close your eyes. A lot of the CRV people will tell you, you can't close your eyes. If you close your eyes, it's only imagination. And I tell you, the best data that I get is from closing my eyes. That's the best target contact. When you see the target, when I did that guy, it was a Lynn Buchanan target. It was Lake Titicaca, the Indians. I saw the guy, closed my eyes. I saw the guy in his funny little hat, in his colorful thing, weaving something. And I knew more about it from that 2-second look than I would from all the probing of ideas of. So anyway, that's a short answer. We could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, we could. And I will say this. The moment when you do this thing, you take the pen, you pop the cap on it, and you turn around and you pause, you talk, you're speaking, then you pause and you close your eyes. That's the moment. I'm telling you, Dick, I've seen you do this so much, and then you turn around and hit the board. You know, you've got it down. You know, and for somebody to say that you can't do that.
For 20 years, I've been taught that the first thing you do in remote viewing is write the target ID on a place that is a little viewing screen in your mind eye, and there's a way that there's an angle that you've got to look at. There's a limited amount of time. There's a structure to how you do it. But that's the first thing you do is you close your eyes and look. And what do you see in 1 second and a half? That's all you get when you start out. And people don't know. If I took a room full of people and said, okay, I'll teach you how to do this. I have a picture here of something. Close your eyes and look and just draw what you saw. But only look for 1.5 seconds. If you look for 3 seconds, you won't get it. Your imagination will kick in.
Right.
People are amazed when they think, God, I drew this shape and that was it. So yeah, you can close your eyes, and I've been doing it long enough so that when I get in the groove, I stand there at the board and I can, when I get comfortable with the lights and the camera. Jimmy, sometimes I do these sessions for Courtney and I think, I started at 15 after the hour and it's 30 minutes after the hour. I did 15 minutes. I've been there for 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Can I get you to hang on for about 10 minutes of overtime? I got to take a break right here, and I don't want to end.
Okay, yeah, I've got an appointment to go to, so I do like 5 or 10 more minutes.
Okay, let's do that. Let's jump into a break right now, and we'll come right back to it. Our guest tonight, Dick Allgire. We are doing remote viewing. We're talking about the new Time Cross project that they're working on over there, and of course, his methods. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Dick right after this short break. Stay with us.
You are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Remote viewing all night tonight. I want to thank Courtney Brown. Always amazing to have him on the show. And right now we're talking to Dick Allgire, Grandmaster remote viewer. No question about that. And Dick, one of the things that, and thank you for hanging out for a little bit longer. Do you think, do you know the question I'm about to ask? No, I'm just kidding. Do you think that the CIA or another 3-letter agency, NSA, pick one, is currently has a remote viewing program underneath another name, although they say that they have stopped the program?
I would expect they do. I know that the guy that taught me, well, how did he put it? He said, I know that there are people that have the skill that are still active. Something like that. Look, I've seen work. I've witnessed stuff. Well, I've done stuff that amazed me, but I've seen stuff that the guy that taught me did. You just, it just you'd be flabbergasted. Of course, they wouldn't not use this. I mean,
right.
But let me also say this. This is a good way to conclude. Remote viewing doesn't make you omniscient. It's not magical psychic powers. It's a communication skill. You can get some very specific details, and there's evidence on the videos that we've referenced where you see that. But you can also be wrong. I can stand there and, who knows what I did for this month's time cross might look, wrong. Although I said there was going to be an event in the skies, and there was a big meteor in Russia.
Yeah.
Anyway, but you can be wrong. It's not 100%. And it's kind of like I could take someone that's never played guitar and I could show them, this is an E major 7th chord. Put your first finger here, this finger here, this finger here. It'd be hard for them to do it, but you could guide their fingers to it and they could kind of play a semblance of that chord. Or an A suspended ninth. Okay, those fingers go there. And if they did that day after day after day, it would take them a while before they could play a jazz tune, an E major 7th, A suspended ninth, and B minor, and then play a pentatonic scale over that played a melodic thing. It takes a lot of work, years and years of dedication and working more and more and more to take those tools to learn how to do it proficiently. So, I don't claim to be you gave me a nice compliment, and Courtney compliments me too, but you can be wrong, and any remote viewer can have their day. We all have the ability, I believe.
We'll end on this note because I don't know if you can or will answer the question, which is the way to do it. You're a newscaster. You know what time it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever been contacted by anybody in Washington about your abilities? You know that they're aware of you. Have you ever been contacted? Have you ever been asked to assist?
I've done some targets for which somebody that has contact just said, do a target for me, and I worked a lot, and I turned it in, and I said, can I get feedback? No. Who was it for? You don't get to know. Courtney and I, well, no.
Okay.
If that, yeah.
I get it.
It would, you might suppose that
that has happened.
They'd be interested. I've done work for, there's a local law enforcement official that's retired, but I did some work for them. We did some work for them. I mean, it's a valuable skill. And but in terms of the CIA, the NSA, and the military branches, they have their own resources. They don't need me. I think they watch what Courtney and I do,
of course,
and find it interesting. So they watch everything, man.
They do.
They know everything that's going on. This is a real skill, and when people do it, they keep an eye on it. I'm pretty sure.
Thank you so much, Dick, and thank you for doing a little overtime with us tonight. Always excited.
Yeah, sorry I do longer, but I've got to go up to a friend's house and help him out. I told him I'd be up.
Oh man,
it's only 7:40 in Hawaii.
Go enjoy yourself. Go hang out with your friends.
All right. Well, we'll talk again, Jimmy. It's a good show. Interesting. You always have it's good conversation.
Absolutely. And next week, as things develop over there with the 7-year-old little boy and with his mom, and that manslaughter thing.
If they recover his remains, and it's where we said, that's what remote viewing needs to do sometime. Remote viewers need to find something. Remote viewers need to go find a buried treasure, find a missing person. I know Joe McMoneagle has done that. He's found a missing person, but we need to say, Yeah, we saw that this was there. Go get it, and there it is.
Yeah, well,
Ingo, this would be a case where that would.
Yeah, Ingo did it with the guy from Las Vegas that was found, down here in Southern California. So yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much.
All right,
Dick.
Jimmy. We'll talk to you again.
All the best. Thank you so much, Dick.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dick Allgire, everybody. It's so funny. Thank you, Dick. We bring up guitars, and we get guitar picks in Twitter for a half an hour. Thank you for everybody that posted all of the pics of your guitars. What a great conversation. Remote viewing is one of my favorite subjects, and no doubt McMonagle and Ingo Swan, and of course the work of Farsight and Daz and Dick and I got to tell you, Aziz Brown is absolutely amazing. Farsight.org is the website. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, your phone calls. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I've got some news that I got to get covered, and of course I got all hot and bothered about speaking my mind about P-Gate. And the phone lines lit up. And, I didn't take any of those calls. I didn't want to hear. But I guess I will now. 323-825-5045. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. It's a holiday season with hope in the air. Things to look forward to and no time for despair. Health can be a challenge, and so can the mail. So Get the Tea wants to help you by giving you a sale. Buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month for free. No limit. That's buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month free. That's a savings of $35. Where? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Scroll down on the front page and find the buy 2, get 1 free ad. Click it and save. Orders over $100 get free shipping. Send the gift of life. Change tea at GetTheTea.com. We have many non-GMO organic supplements just waiting for you. This holiday season, enjoy health and Thanksgiving with GetTheTea.com. Want to call us? 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. GetTheTea.com is a proud sponsor of doing what's right. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Got Lynn Lewis right now from Australia in the background. Going to bring her in a second because check this out. As inflation continues to skyrocket amid a growing economic crisis, Venezuela's central bank announced Sunday it would issue new higher value banknotes later this month. New coins are also going to be issued. Now, listen to this. The largest banknote currently in circulation is 100 bolivars, and it's worth 2 cents. That is the largest banknote in circulation, and it's worth 2 cents. And it has left Venezuelans casting their wallets and purses aside, and this is what they do. They have to fill backpacks full of cash just to go out and get toilet paper. Or a meal at a restaurant, you have to have a garbage bag full of bills. I'm not making this up. Now, they've resisted the calls to issue larger denominations, and I don't understand. But now they're going to issue notes 500 to 20,000 bolivars, and they're going to come into circulation next week on December 15th. But that 20,000, that 20K, bolivar is going to be worth, wait for it, I'm not joking, $4. That's right. The largest bill in circulation in Venezuela is going to be $4. Let's go to the phones. Lynn, what are you doing?
I have been out Christmas shopping this afternoon.
What'd you get me?
Coffee.
Right on, Lynn. So what's going on over there? Did your prime minister resign this week too?
No, not this week. Maybe next week. Let's hope.
Okay, let's hope. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, so I missed all of Dick, and I only caught the last 15 minutes. I just wanted to point out, I think it's on YouTube. There's a video, and you can self-test, like, I think it's Dick and the other guy. What's his head? Anyway, and they do a thing with a group of people, and you can download the sheets and all that sort of stuff, and do it with them.
What's that in the background? Is that like a rattlesnake? What is that?
What?
That sound in the background.
That's Bob.
Okay.
Bob.
Oh, it's a bird?
Yep.
Yeah, he ain't playing around. He ain't playing around.
Nah.
Okay, all right. So go ahead, the videos.
Yeah. You download the test, and you can go along with the video, and you can test yourself.
Have you done it?
It's really cool. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did really well, too.
Really?
It's really cool.
I do at some point, and I know Rita does. We've been talking about this. I would like to sit down and take a crack at it, and get the proper instruction and figure it out, because I find it fascinating. And what killed me originally was when what's his name, Reagan did the remote viewing on the Malibu base, and I saw that happen in real time, and that's when we first broke the story, right? And he opened up. I'm watching him draw. I don't know what he's doing, and I watch him open up the envelope, and it's our picture, the JimmyChurchRadio.com, picture of the Malibu base, and he unfolded, and I freaked out. I mean, that was amazing, and I've always been fascinating with it. But when you see that and it hits so close to home for you, that's when you start to realize that there is something significant going on here. This is real. This is not, fantasy, and this isn't, telekinesis or starting fires with your mind. That's not what we're talking about here. This isn't Uri Geller. No, this is something very scientific and real.
Yeah, well, after I watched this video and downloaded the slip of paper to go along with it, and I did it, and I totally believe it because, I got some hits. I really did well. Like they've got something in an envelope and it's there and up in the corner. And I think Dick Allgire goes along with you and they do it all. I'll look for it and I'll send you the link. I'll put it on Twitter and you can all test yourselves. It's really cool.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for the tip. And I'll look for that on Twitter. In the meantime, go hang out with your bird.
I'm going to strangle it.
I'll talk to you. Thank you, Lynn.
Take care.
Lynn Lewis, all the way from Australia. Thank you for the phone call. Man, her bird is loud. Now, check this out. 6 people have died after separately overdosing on heroin this past Sunday night within just a few blocks of each other in Philadelphia. The deaths were the latest fatalities from a spike in drug use in the city. Police have been investigating a batch of heroin making its way through Philadelphia and suspected possibly laced drugs in the deaths of more than 50 people in November. The city has experienced a significant rise in drug overdoses, with almost 700 deaths occurring in 2015 and now a projected number of 840 in 2016. Absolutely incredible. Now, a federal, this is important and to me, which means it is to you. A federal court judge has called on Coinbase Inc., a Bitcoin wallet service, to give the IRS records of American user transactions from 2015 to 2015, or 2013 to 2015. And they are saying this is to conduct an investigation into potential tax fraud. Yesterday, the Northern California District Court allowed the Internal Revenue Service to issue a John Doe summons to Coinbase. Now, they're in pursuit of information about U.S. taxpayers who conducted transactions in a convertible virtual currency during the years 2013 through 2015. And this is according to the United States Department of Justice. Coinbase is a virtual currency exchange based in San Francisco, California. Now, I'm quoting here. The taxpayers being investigated have not been or may not be complying with U.S. internal revenue laws requiring the reporting of taxable income from virtual currency transactions, end quote. And that is what the IRS wrote in its request for information. And it looks like if this goes through, and now that a federal judge has jumped in, I'm just going to say the best days of Bitcoin, all the fun is in the past. Now, I reported on this a couple of days ago. I just didn't get a chance to do this on the air. But Queen Nefertari's dismembered legs have been found. Her mummy was ripped to pieces and tossed around by ancient robbers, but scientists say now they have identified her legs, consisting of fragmented thigh bones, a kneecap, a tibia, the upper portion of the bone where it widens to help, form the knee joint. The body parts are likely those of Queen Nefertari, known for her impressive wall paintings of her lavishly decorated tomb, QV66, in the Valley of the Queens, which depict her timeless beauty in an unusually lifelike form. Nefertari was highly educated and played an active role in foreign politics. However, little is known about her demise. Now, I don't want to confuse everybody. This isn't Nefertiti, who lived one dynasty earlier. Nefertari was the first and favorite wife of the warrior pharaoh Ramses II, who reigned between 1290 and 1224 BC during the early 19th dynasty. Now, also over on our Facebook page, and you should go and like Jimmy Church Radio, the Facebook page. We update it all day long with news and events, things that we're doing, and, of course, our schedule for the show. And you can also comment and private message us there. So do go like our Facebook page. But Virgin Galactic's new 6-passenger Spaceship Two made its first glide test right over the bunker in California this past weekend. The ship is the second in a series of commercial spaceships built for Richard Branson Space Company, which is selling tickets for 250,000 ducks. 250,000 ducks quacking in the pond. The first ship, manufactured and tested by contractor Northrop Grumman's Scaled Composites, was destroyed during a fatal test flight last October 31st. Now, the new ship, named Unity and built by Virgin's The Spaceship Company, previously made 4 flights attached to its carrier aircraft. On Saturday, Spaceship Two and its mothership, White Knight 2, took off at 6:49 a.m. from California's Mojave Air and Spaceport, located in the Mojave Desert, about 200 miles northwest of Los Angeles. Is it really 200 miles? Doesn't seem like it's that far. But thank you, Mark. Mark just posted pictures of the flight here that we have got up. Look at this thing. 6 passengers plus crew. Is that thing cool or what? So there you go. Is it really 200 miles? I didn't think it was, wasn't that far, man. It seems like it's about a half-hour drive. But anyway, the funniest video that I've seen in a long time, and you can go and look it up, but it is great. Country star Luke Bryan took care of a doofus in the front row with a bitch slap. I'm not kidding. Yeah, that's right. I just cussed on the air, but that's exactly what it was. All without skipping a beat, man. It was during a concert this week, and he was performing his song Move at the Charlie Daniels All-Star Volunteer Jam in Nashville, Tennessee, last Wednesday night. And this fan, now the video, there's 2 versions of it. There's an official video, and then there's like a cell phone video, one from the front, one from the back, right? And the video shows Brian, he walks up to the edge of the stage, and he says, come on. He's singing, by the way. He doesn't skip a beat. And then he steps forward, and he slaps this goofball right upside his mug, man. Just open palm crack. I got to tell you, it is awesome. Why did he do it? This dude was like making crude hand gestures. That's all I got to say. And he steps up to the stage and he's doing this. And Brian just walks right up and looks at the guy and cracks him. And the dude asked for it. And he got it. And I'm hoping it was in front of his girlfriend or in front of his wife or in front of his family. And he was totally embarrassed because he got cracked. And then security comes and grabs the guy and throws him out of the concert. It's hilarious. And then Brian, which is the funniest part for me, just turns around and continues on with the show like nothing happened. It is just totally badass. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thank you, Courtney Brown. Thank you, Dick Allgire. Great show tonight. Nothing like talking about remote viewing. Farsight.org. Go. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Shows produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Tomorrow night, Scott Wolter, America Unearthed, and the Oak Island Map. Until then, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tebby.